Hello, everybody. Welcome to the bench. We've got some good topics. I think you're going to really enjoy them, especially as we are inching closer and closer to basketball season. Football season's been very fun so far, but let's be honest. Let's move right on past it. Let's get to basketball. I think we're all hungry for it. We're ready to get there, and we are going to kick things off like we normally do with bench behavior. And it's the Mets just versus the playoffs in general. What a colossal failure for the team stationed out of Queens, New York City.
The Braves sucked this year. There was no way around it. But it still just makes you feel good to know that the Mets just constantly collapse. It's missing the playoffs after spending $17 trillion on a roster. Pete Alonso's walking. It's the only good thing that happened to a Braves fan this year.
But yeah, I'm with Jake here. My team sucked. I mean, hell, we lost 102 games, I think, this year. But the one thing I love about a good Mets collapse is when Frank the Tank from Barstool just absolutely loses his mind. I mean, I watch that on repeat for hours because he bites things. His shirt off, he bites things. He just has this complete meltdown, and it makes me feel a little bit better about the meltdowns I have about my team. So it's just like cathartic. It's like, look, see, at least I'm not doing this on camera.
It could be worse. The best part of it, this year was just unacceptable. If I'm a Mets fan, I'm like, fire everybody in that front office. Missed the playoffs to a team that was absolutely lost and got in. Immediately got the boot from the Dodgers, but I don't think anybody else expected anything.
Yeah,
different.
I think the Dodgers looked absolutely stunning in those two games. Cincinnati didn't belong there, and Dodgers probably deserved a bye based on the way they played.
Yeah, the best part is you can't tank in baseball. They won't let you have the top pick 2 years in a row.
That's right. So for the next bench behavior topic, this is a fun one. Florida A&M University, their announcer, for making the comment that he did, he's suspended for 2 games, and then the school was fined $10,000.
Can he make it no? Should he have made it no? Was it mean? Yes, but it made me giggle when I heard it because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he said it.
Yeah.
It was just wild.
For 2025, 50 years ago, that might have flown. 2025, not the best play.
No.
I listened to it too. And it's not like he didn't he forgot to hit the off button. This had some purpose behind it. There was intent here. I'm not exactly sure how he kept his job.
Sure. Makes you wonder afterwards. He was like, if he was like, oh yeah, that was slick, that was funny. And then when it hit him, like, oh, wait a minute. That's probably not going to fly.
That caught me so off guard. I was giggling for a while on that one.
Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but then you miss some of the ones you do take.
This is a fact. We're bringing you facts on bench points tonight. And here's another fact. We have another segment that follows our bench behavior segment, and that is our standing up shout-outs that we like to give each week. And for the first standing up, near and dear to our hearts, that's referencing the beautiful shirt that Jake is wearing, which if you love Jake's shirt, which why wouldn't you? Look at that beautiful Tennessee money line. Put your money where your mouth is. Look at the WinWear that Sam's got on. Go check out our friends at winwearapparel.com and use the promo code bench points, and you'll be able to see there's tons of opportunities there for different pullovers, polos, t-shirts, things you can wear to work, wear to the game, wear out to eat.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. They're coming out with new trucker hats and whatnot that I'm excited for.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up. Yes, some of the new hats, and they keep trying new things. They kind of keep evolving. It's been fun to see growth. So that's the first standing go, is how awesome WinWear is. But in reference to Jake's shirt, let's talk a little bit about how Joey Aguilar is performing at Tennessee after switching places with that other guy. But I am thrilled at the deal that was made, and I'm glad that we have who we have in an orange uniform.
It's incredible because the way Tennessee has played this year, it's like Nico never paid attention to the offense, and Joey came in with less than 3 months to figure it out, and that offense already is a lot more open, a lot more go than Nico ever had it going. And I mean, it's showing off because dude's leading the SEC in yards and touchdowns, and I know he's thrown 5 interceptions, but I want to say 4
of them that weren't his fault.
So not all his fault there. We got to come up with a new stat for football. If it clearly hits your receiver's hands and then somebody else catches it, that shouldn't be an interception. But
100% agree.
This Tennessee team in general, Aaron Carter leading the SEC in tackles by a wide margin. He's got 15 on second place.
He was unbelievable Saturday night, and Yeah, his name was constantly being called. So it's hard to say that it was like a sneaky performance because it wasn't. It was very blatant that he was there almost on every play. But to get that sort of publicity for the amount of tackles you're getting in the SEC is pretty amazing.
Yeah, Brazil's showing out too. He's dominating, and Matthews isn't far behind him. I think we got first and fifth. The whole Tennessee team is in fantastic place, doing well. One kick away from being in the driver's seat of the SEC, while UCLA picked up Nico and
Never
has
heard of her.
not held a lead this year for any amount of time. I'm very happy that that's how that worked out.
Yep. When Joey got on campus, he literally went and just immediately started taking his linemen out. I mean, the guy is making the right moves, and it makes you wonder. This could be a whole nother topic for a different podcast for a different time. But to see how well these older quarterbacks are excelling at a high level, and then you got the young guys like the Arch Mannings and the Nikos and those folks that can't seem to get it dialed in, and it's going to take them a little while. It probably couldn't have right out of high school came in and is what he's doing now. He's had to grow into this with good coaching and he put in the work. He put in the elbow grease that's needed to get to where he's at. You can tell how grateful he is as well. So I mean, that all is just really neat.
Yeah, that's fantastic. This is one of the more fun seasons I've had in a while. Because I did not expect us to be this good. I did not expect us to be in the game, let alone should have beat Georgia. I'm excited for next week with Arkansas. I think that's who we come back with.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Sam. Yeah,
no,
I think you had one.
My 2 cents on this. So I watched that game with Jake the other day. It's actually the second game I watched Tennessee going to overtime with Jake and just watching him stress the hell out. Football season's easy for me as a Purdue fan because we put a team on the field, but we didn't do anything out there. But it was a fun game to watch, and Joey was doing a fantastic job. I agreed that the interception stats should be changed. I hate that off the hands kind of deal. But I will say this: the biggest win for Tennessee this week was Ralph Scott. I'm switching gears, taking it out of football, going to basketball. As a Purdue fan, I'm not accustomed to losing to Tennessee. And we lost to Tennessee on that one. We signed Rivers Knight, and I think Ralph Scott says, well, all right, packing my bags and heading to Tennessee, and he looks good in orange. So you guys got a real winner there.
Do you think Knight was the deciding factor for real though? Do you think that was it?
They play different positions and different styles. I think it's a lot of coincidentals, but if you're looking at it from Ralph Scott's perspective, he's going to go into Tennessee and be an immediate offensive impact. Whereas Purdue, it's going to be you're going to have to really, really work for your spot because the way Rick Barnes builds his teams is very defensive minded. And if you're an offensive juggernaut, you have a spot because they need that a little bit more of that balance. Whereas Painter, he can have a 4-star and they could play like a 3-star, and he could have a 2-star and they'll play like a 5-star, just based on the way they work within his system and how he coaches and how he X's and O's. I think it's the perfect fit for Tennessee. I would have loved to have seen him in black and gold, but reading the scouting report on this dude and watching everything that was tied to Ralph Scott, I was like, God, this would be a bag for Tennessee. I'm glad they got him. As a Purdue fan who is fan adjacent to Tennessee sports up until the tournament, I think this is a big one for you guys.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I also think the defensive part of his game will really come alive. He's just got the body part. He fits exactly what Barnes wants to do. If we can get him for 2.5, 3 years, I think he will be a superstar in orange. But I don't know that that's going to happen because he's got too much talent, too good of a player to be sitting around in college for a couple of years.
And it seems like he's got a pretty high basketball IQ as well. Just the way he's positioning himself on the floor. I was watching some of his highlights and how he would kind of control himself and almost post somebody up almost at a 3-point line. Kind of like how Wemby, what he could do. But Wemby's obviously a different freak. But still, he's posting people up out there, and he'll square up or turn around and, back you down. I mean, he's not scared. He just seems like he's very confident in his ability. He's confident in the talent that he's seen. I mean, obviously IMG plays, that's a pretty high level of ball. So it's not like he's playing somewhere in the middle of God knows where, Kentucky, and they're playing against a bunch of, no stars, 1-star kids. So I think he has a lot to show for it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be in that EYBL league in Louisville or whatever this year, and we'll get a real good look at him there.
I'm excited. I hope so. I think he should, right? I would think he'd be one of those guys. Let's go ahead and sneak in one more standing O. And I hate that I mean, I think we have to mention it, but our man Cam. I can't say his last name. If anyone takes a shot, I feel like I'm going to swear and get in trouble by my mother.
Just call him Cam.
But Cam bringing the freaking heat.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I've not seen anything like that in a minute. I mean, just, and that young, unbelievable.
First playoff start, just absolutely dominating. I think, 12 strikeouts? He just locked Boston up. I hate that I'm bragging on the Yankees in any, but when a guy has the kind of performance he did in an elimination game like that, that is just special. And I know the Yankees will find a way to screw him up because that's what they've been doing. But it was fantastic to watch that night. He was just game of his life. I don't know if he'll ever repeat that. That's just incredible.
So I'm in a Thursday night dart league, and 90% of the people I was around were Cubs fans. So I got to watch them, lose their mind after PCA made that game-winning catch where he did the glove tap on the leg, and I thought, oh God, here we go, Steve Bartman 2.0. But congrats to the Cubbies. As a White Sox fan, that kind of hurts to say. Look, as a White Sox fan, baseball's been really, really tough to follow because for the last 3 years straight, we've been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs mid-April. So it's not been fun baseball for me. So I can't tell you who's good and who wasn't except for the Phils. My buddy Jeff is a big Phillies fan, and I think they might win the World Series this year. But outside of that, it's been rough for being a baseball fan for me.
I don't see any hope in for the White Sox because their best pitchers was the game one starter for Boston. Hey, go back to Tennessee. Crochet, man. He got out of COVID. Otherwise, that team probably would have been in the World Series thinking about winning it all, too.
I've been anxious to get into this and sink our teeth into one of the first bracketology. All right, so for one of our main topics for tonight, we're going to get into some bracketology. Perhaps way too early or maybe just right on time, just for the nerds like us to discuss college basketball and talk about what we could possibly see in March. So we're going to take a quick look at the ESPN projections, and our lovely Vanna White, aka Jake, is bringing that up on the screen. We're going to kind of get our gut reactions to this. I think there's a few that stand out pretty distinctly, but what's the first thing that really jumps off the page when you all first saw these results?
I mean, the first thing I always look at is the last four in, first four out. That's where I kind of sit. And Georgia being up there in the last four in is just absolutely shocking to me.
What do they know that we don't?
I don't see the talent on that team. And I mean, Texas A&M is surprising too, but leaving Marquette out is a bold call for me. That was the first thing that absolutely stood out to me. The last four buys, those all feel okay. And Virginia, Miami I'm down on Miami, so I think that one's wrong. But I understand why people like Miami, and I like Virginia. So that was what immediately stuck out to me.
Yeah, I'm not shocked about Miami. I'm like Georgia. I was kind of milquetoast on Texas A&M. I feel pretty confident with them. Virginia, but for me, it was Marquette and Indiana being the first four out. I feel a lot better about Marquette than I do Indiana because Marquette is kind of an established product a little bit with a seasoned coach. Indiana is kind of a big question mark. I don't think they are not a tournament team. I think they're going to sneak their way in there some way, somehow. But it's just it's like what we talked about, 8 weeks ago is they're a mid-major all-star team. So they're either going to play like mid-majors or they're going to step up and be big boys in the Big Ten. We just don't know. It's a big question mark. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're out, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like a 6. I think they've got a really low floor and a really moderately high ceiling. So definitely keep Indiana on the radar. I think they might come out of the gates a little bit slow, but I think they might get their feet under them come conference play, and they're going to have a lot of opportunities for some big wins.
And I think too, for Marquette, it's one of those deals where I've realized that a lot of my takes on here are because I just like a basketball purist in a lot of ways. But if Marquette's in the tournament, it just makes sense. Same thing with Villanova. You want those teams to kind of be in there. I feel like Marquette's one of those teams that people who only pay attention to March Madness and fill out a bracket, always pick Marquette because that's a team that you always see on there. And so for them to be the first 4 out makes me very sad. But I don't see that happening. I think they're going to find their way in there and could even really exceed expectations. I can't count them out. That's a basketball school through and through, and they're all in on their program. So I thought that was pretty interesting. We'll see about Indiana. It'd be cool to see them actually be in providing a little bit of a threat, but they might even need to be in the next 4 out after that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe they can turn something on earlier in the season.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's just Marquette feels like a lock. Indiana feels like a mystery.
Yeah.
What's kind of fun here is you've got a lot of like first go around coaches, right? Like Miller there with Texas, McCollum at Iowa, Texas A&M. I forget who took that job. Odom, Virginia, Lucas, Miami, DeVries, Indiana. Like as we go through, and then but Villanova with Kevin Willard. Like I'm surprised that Joey Brackett's here didn't value a little bit of consistency in coaching and roster. Kansas State, Jerome Tang, that guy can coach. He was on Baylor's staff forever, and I mean when he gets a team going, he's good. So like that, them being in that next 4 out is a little bit not surprising, but I it's not where I would have flipped them and like SMU, and I would have had Marquette in. Washington, I'm high on them, but that's higher than what I think most people are, is having them right on the edge of the bubble.
See, my thoughts on Washington is they picked off the 2 best players from USC last year, and I really, really like their coach. When he was at Utah State, I liked him. I think he's got a good program builder. He did wonders at Utah State, and now he's got a Washington team where he literally sniped USC's best 2 players that worked half the Big Ten last year.
Any Sprinkle?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What a name. Coach Sprinkle.
That's wild. But we'll look at the first couple brackets we show here. The first 2 we got Chicago or Houston.
I mean, like I'll tell you my surprises from both, or not surprises, I guess, from both sides. Houston, Florida, the number ones. I don't think any of us 3 are shocked about those 2. UConn, St. John's as number 2s coming out of the same conference. Like I think there's going to be a 1 seed that comes out of the Big East. Like that's just me, because they're going to beat the hell out of the Big East.
Yeah,
they kind of have to have 1 seed. I feel like unless they just completely destroy each other.
Look, so I am so incredibly high on UConn this year, and I watched the Inside College Basketball interview with Dan Hurley and just listen to him talk. He is going to die by the time he's 60. He is just like, in the interview, he was at practice. Mentally, he was at practice. He was like thinking about all the ways he can make his team better. And look, I don't like UConn. I don't like the guy. I think there's a lot of show there, but a great coach. And he's built a great program, and I think he's got 1 or 2 more left in him before he hangs it up, if he can survive that long. But I'm so high on them. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a 1 seed. I just don't know who we put them over outside of when we get to the bottom brackets. I say that maybe Duke is going to be a freight train through the ACC. So I don't know. It's a fair ones with Houston and Florida, and definitely St. John's as a 2. UConn as a 2 is a maybe for me.
Like from that perspective, UConn has a better chance than St. John's to eclipse Purdue or Duke or Florida. I think it's kind of set because their non-conference schedule is loaded with all-star game after all-star game after all-star game. So they might be able to swing it with a resume because, like we've talked about, Big East is weak, so the conference isn't helping them out at all. And that's also, if you don't start off hot, it's going to be tough because your conference wins are not going to help you out that much. But Joey Brackett's here has got Houston is his number 1 team, and this feels unfair to have your number 1 team in this loaded of a bracket. Like that was one of the first things when I looked at this whole thing that really shocked me is like Houston got no love.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
I mean, we've talked about Vandy, how they can be. Bama is nuts. Illinois, Texas Tech, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, UConn. Like VCU is a very good team out of the A-10 as well. Like it's shocking. And I mean, Illinois State is a very scary team at a 12 too. There is no love
That's a
here.
Fantastic point.
And then you look at across the aisle. Like I mean, we're all kind of down on Gonzaga. Like same thing with like Texas A&M, Miami, Arizona is a big yo-yo. Oregon, I'm high on Oregon. I don't know how many people, other people are, but and I'm down on, like most people are down on Texas, like just looking straight across a very weak bracket versus like what he's got Houston going through like a bracket of death here. It makes me a little mad that Tennessee's also there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tennessee out of 3 seems absolutely spot on to me. I think Tennessee is going to be a 2 through 4 seed, and I think they're a dangerous threat. I actually like this bracket for Tennessee. You handle your business against a strong Texas Tech team. Like I'd like to see Tennessee avenge themselves against Houston, and that would be to get into that Final Four.
Would love that as well. I just, man, Texas Tech game is.
That's
Well,
right.
and then you got to go through UConn in the Sweet 16.
Right.
Hmm.
So, but the dream scenario here for us, right, is Tennessee wins the Midwest and Purdue wins the West.
Good God.
And we have the nightmare Final Four scenario in Indianapolis.
I think I described my vision on exactly how that's going to work. That's almost guaranteed now. If this comes out as a bracket, that's almost guaranteed what will happen, which just terrifying to me. Ohio State 6 outlook is fine. UCLA at a 4 is. I'm not there with them. I don't think their
I think that's
schedule.
the worst take on here.
I don't think their schedule lines up that way. I don't know that the Big Ten is strong enough to carry them with knowing what else is out there. Of course, the AQ thing for Gonzaga, because nobody else in that conference can breathe and chew gum at the same time. 5 seed feels okay for Gonzaga, I guess. But UCLA at a 4 is a no go for me.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm a little higher on UCLA. I think the Big Ten is going to be extremely tough this year, and I think it's very top heavy with Purdue, with Michigan, with Illinois, with UCLA. I think they're going to battle for the conference championship all year. I think UCLA has a lot of opportunities to put themselves in a really good spot come tournament time. And then on the opposite side of that bracket, Illinois. So, I don't hate the UCLA at a 4. I don't think they're going to go higher than a 4. I don't think they're going to go lower than a 6. Ohio State is bringing back a lot of experience.
I like that.
They are like one of the few teams that are returning 3 starters. I think they're going to be absolutely dangerous for anybody that they play.
Do we think if they don't at least get to like we're looking at them right here and like at least get there and have a close game, is the Diebler experiment done?
Yeah, probably.
I would say so. I think they'll be pretty.
He got the hold on
He
that
kind of
job.
has what he needs.
Yeah, he got the hold on that job because his first game out of the gate was Purdue, and they won pretty handily, and then kept the job because of that. And it feels like this is the real year. It's like, all right, prove it.
I think he's 2-0 against Purdue. And he led them into Mackey and won. It was Purdue's first loss at Mackey in like 2 years, and he brought a terrible Ohio State team in, and with a late second half comeback, and then just like a 10-point run. It was like I was watching with my buddy Jeff, and I was just like, I have no idea what's going on.
One thing I'll mention real quick is that I feel like we've kind of brushed by them a couple of times, but Oregon has stayed relevant through a lot of changes through their in and out of different conferences and different situations. And I can never say, is it Dana or Dana? I'm assuming it's Dana.
It's Dana Altman, man. That dude,
Yeah,
that is one of my favorite coaches that does not get talked about enough. I absolutely love him.
he's criminally underrated.
His teams struggle in the first part of the year. That's why that seed number is never super high.
Correct.
But by the time conference tournament comes around, they're one of the top 3 or 4 teams in his conference every year. And I mean, that's going with like back in the Pac-12's heyday with Arizona and UCLA and all that when they were going nuts. He was still had his team way up there, and the Big Ten is going to get a dose of that. They're going to see them all on conference and be like, we could. Oregon, that's probably a win when we play them, and then realize if you're playing them in February and March, it's a much different team than what you see in January.
He is so underrated. And just look at his, like, if you look at his Wikipedia page and just like his stats and what he's had, the dude he's won some ball games and he's had some jobs, that's for sure. All right, we're going to move down to the bottom half here.
Yeah. So we got.
I think this is where you have the most play. So Purdue at a 1. Again, I think the Big Ten is extremely tough. It's, I'd say, almost as tough as the SEC this year. It's very, like I said, very top heavy. Purdue, Michigan, Illinois, UCLA, Oregon. They're all going to be right there at the top of the conference all year. I think this Purdue would have the number 3 overall. Is that right? Based on this?
I think that's how that works.
So, like, looking at this bracket, like, there's nothing I really have a problem with. Louisville at a 5, little low. Arkansas at a 4, maybe a little high. You maybe flip-flop those. But yeah, Michigan State coming in at a 6 is the one that, like, it's a red flag for me. With their, transfer guy getting injured, going to be out for the year, and the mystery behind Cohen Carr's development. This might be the year Michigan State doesn't make a tournament. And this,
No, come on.
put this on TikTok because I'm going to get shredded by the Michigan State fans. But I just, I'm not seeing the roster here. The only reason I believe in Michigan State at all is because of Tom Izzo. There's nothing on the roster that makes me think that this is a tournament team anymore. But it's just the coach is going to drag them in there by their ears, or he's going to go out swinging.
Yeah. And I'm BYU at a 2 is way too high for me.
Preach.
That is saying, hey, you've got some NBA talent. We're going to reward you for that here. I don't think anything about that squad borderline 1 seed, and that's where you're sitting them at, and I don't like that at all. I could get behind Kentucky being there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like, look at some of the other 3 state would not shock me if they jumped up to the 2 line, but that was, I was like, whoa. And Memphis getting the, I don't agree with the auto qualifier for Memphis there, but the 11 seed feels right for that conference.
Yep.
I think we're going to find out a lot about Memphis come Baja Mar time. When they have that first round game with Purdue, I think that's going to be a big test.
But Cincinnati at an 8, I want to say no to because Chisel James is gone, but I don't know.
Yeah, and they've got him up from the last bracketology too, so it's
And Auburn of 4, I think, is still.
It's hard to know when this was submitted to when Pearl announcement came out.
I think it was right after.
Because it says 9 a.m.
So that was.
Yeah, but that's when it got published. Like, he probably turned that in the day before. Like,
Yeah.
True.
Auburn at a 4 is probably not actually where Auburn would be.
I need to hear from a Duke fan how you feel about Duke in the 1 line.
Like, I'm not a believer in Duke to the 1 line. I think we're going to struggle out of the gate this year, and the ACC is not going to be enough to boost them up. Like, if Duke gets the 1 line, it's because some other teams from like Iowa State or BYU, Purdue, Tennessee, Kentucky, like all those slipped up too much. Like, beat each other up inside the conference and all that, or dropped a couple games they shouldn't. I don't think Duke is going to earn that as much as it's given to them this year. Very easily see them on the 2 to 3 line based on how the non-conference goes. But if they come up out of the gate steamrolling everybody, it may be a done deal because they're probably one of the more talented teams in the NCAA this year. But Kansas at a 5 feels right to me.
Yeah.
I like that. North Carolina at a 6 is a bit of a stretch, but San Diego State as a 10 is criminal to me.
I completely agree. I was about to say that. I think to me, I would ride this as motivation. I'd have this plastered in the locker room.
That should be flipped. Missouri should be the 10, and San Diego State should be the 7 there. That is
Good call. I like that.
That is real bad.
Do you think between Arkansas and Auburn, when this is all said and done, who is going to have, of the 2, who's going to have the better seed?
2 weeks ago, I would have said Auburn. This week, I'll say Arkansas.
I'm trying to decide.
I just do not like the way the Arkansas roster is put together. I think I still lean Auburn. I think Arkansas is in for a bit of a letdown compared to the hype.
Oh,
I do not like how that roster is pieced together. This reminds me of Kansas last year, where they've got all good pieces that just do not fit.
yeah.
It's actively rooting against Arkansas because of Calipari, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're exceptionally good because Cal knows how to recruit or buy players, if you will. Kind of the same deal with Self. I think Self might have some better X's and O's than Cal, but big question marks around Arkansas. I wouldn't be surprised either way. How about that?
Based on what we're seeing here, who's your 4 off this? Not just who you thought was going to make it, like we talked about earlier.
I'm a Final 4.
Yeah, now you've got a little bit of a bracket to work through.
So I would say because I had Houston, UConn, Purdue, and Michigan in my Final Four earlier. You gotta
You can get
scroll
3 of
down
those.
just a little bit.
You can get 3 of those.
I'm gonna go Purdue, Michigan in the bottom, and I'm gonna go UConn. I'm watching the matchups here. I'm gonna go UConn, Florida in the top. I'm still
very chalky.
I think Purdue exercises the demon against UConn, gets the national title game again, and with any luck, it's Michigan. We get a Big Ten champion for the first time in 25 years. But I am going to be optimistic and say this is Purdue's year to win a national title. I think all the pieces are there. Absolutely.
I think I might go St. John's instead of Florida.
Good pick. I was close to that because they have an easy route to the Elite Eight.
And then I kind of like Iowa State with the way the matchups work here.
I was just Googling and seeing what the highest seed that Iowa State has had, and I think it has been a 3.
I have no clue what to pick in the Houston bracket because I think this bracket, whoever makes it through that is probably your champion, whether they actually win it or not. So probably Houston, just because that's who I've picked originally.
Hey, grow a set here, Jake. Pick Tennessee. Do it, because I'm looking at it and I say, if Tennessee makes the Elite Eight and has Houston staring down the barrel, I think they exercise the demons for last year. But Tennessee has to get past UConn, who I think UConn's the best team in this whole bracket.
And Texas Tech too, which is not a easy game. But
this Midwest. The more I'm looking at, the more I feel like there's no chance in hell this happens anywhere close. I think he missed this one the most because you could at least move. Like I was even looking at like for the DC Greenville. I mean, you could switch out. There's a lot of different options here. Actually, now that I keep looking at, I mean, there really could be. I would love to see Iowa State. I think that'd be very fun. I think that'd be great. But I think I have the same that Sam picked. But I just it's still pretty early. You all have a better feel for it than I do. And who knows? You don't want to miss out on Louisville, who can make something weird happen. That could be a very fun thing to see happen and kind of make things interesting.
Oh, that's going to be heartbreak for Sam in the Sweet 16. There's 2 teams he's riding for right now, Purdue and Louisville.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. I like that Brad kind of smoothed that over. It's like you guys got a better feel for it, and what it really means is you guys got more of an obsession with it.
Yeah, I mean, now who's to say though Arizona could probably match up decent with Florida?
Well,
But get past St. John's is rough.
I was all over them when our Big 12 preview. I really like the pieces that they have. I think it's a big question mark, but it could go right. But it's also got a floor where we're seeing them in like the 12 seed range or in a play-in game where their floor is at.
How often does he refresh this? Do we know? Like throughout the season? Do you know?
It speeds up as we get closer to time. I think
that's what I thought.
It's probably like monthly, and then
come like January it starts becoming bi-weekly, and then February it's weekly.
Yeah, and then I think it's like twice a week towards the end of it.
Because I think this is fun to kind of reference back to kind of keeping a pulse on as we move through the season.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some ways to make some money. I know I need money. And again, get you a Moneyline shirt from WinWearApparel.com with using the promo code BenchPoints. We're throwing out another shout out. So Jake, you want to kind of break this down real quick?
So if you've ever been with us over there with Picture the Professor, you know I have a blast with these future bets in college basketball. And I'm doing pretty well come tournament time. I'm not so hot here with the conference winners before the ball even starts. But first one, the ACC and the top 5 odds: Duke at plus 150, Louisville at plus 195, UNC at plus 650, NC State at plus 800, and Virginia at plus 1500. But I'm not sure if you've never dabbled in conference betting, please, dear God, do not pick Duke. Do not put your money on Duke because you will more than likely lose that, or you'll be sweating it all year and barely make any return. If you just want Duke to win the ACC and you want to bet that, just bet them to win every ACC game. You'll do a lot better.
So smart money to me, again, is like Duke or Louisville. I think brave money here is NC State. Ballsy money is Virginia. For me personally, I'm going to lay 25, maybe 50 down on NC State because I just want to see what happens. Like I'm like, pop the popcorn, crack open the beer, watch this all unfold. Maybe the youngins at Duke kind of fold when it comes to pressure or anything like that. But NC State with a Will Wade era, I'm excited to see what happens here.
Yeah.
I'm putting my $10 because I'm a little lighter in the pocket than old Sambo there.
Well, I'm an sage 42-year-old. I've got I got gambling money that my wife doesn't know about, and when she watches this podcast, she might get a little upset.
Just a
What
little.
happens on the bench stays on the bench.
Yeah.
But I'm going Virginia. Your odds on this team are not going to get any better. I think they're going to get smaller and smaller. The closer we get, the more that comes out. Odom, great coach, fantastic transfer portal class. ACC schedule breaks their way a little bit too. I think Virginia is where I'm putting my money. I think one, to be a fun payout. Two, I think they got the squad to do it if things break the right way. UNC at plus 650. I don't understand that. That to me is that's nope. I would not put any money. I wouldn't bet Sam's money on UNC as plus 650.
I wouldn't bet my money either.
I think it's irresponsible not to put something down for NC State and Virginia.
Yeah, I
At least something.
like that. What is it? Fortune favors the bold. I like that NC State pick a lot. And again, like I think
Yeah,
if
the
you
Will
have
Wade Wolfpack.
if you have what does Pedro Serrano say? If you have the huevos,
Yeah.
We got no Bob.
then put your money on Virginia.
That they're for the ACC we're going. Virginia, NC State's the route we're going. But Big 12 once again, Houston is by far the favorite to win it all. BYU at plus 400, Texas Tech plus 425, Kansas plus 650, and Arizona plus 875. Well, you got a little bit tighter of a spread and a little more talent there is what the book's trying to tell you. In the Big 12, a little more spread out. I still think this is Houston all day, but if I'm putting my money, I'm either going Texas Tech or Arizona. I don't think Kansas is good enough. I don't like BYU, as we just talked about with the bracket. There's more talent, like name recognition on that team than it is the actual team being good. I would probably sprinkle a little bit on both. Texas Tech is much more likely to win, but I think Arizona could absolutely make a run and just run teams to death. If they can figure out any kind of defense, this could be a lot of fun for Arizona this year. Texas Tech is probably where I'd put most of my money when I'm making this bet. So if my $15 I'll spread, probably put 10 on Texas Tech and 5 on Arizona.
So my thoughts on this is like betting the Big 12 feels like a fool's errand if you're not betting on Houston, because I think Houston's the runaway favorite in this one. But look, plus 650 is not enough for me to fix the sleep I lose over betting on anything Kansas. And Texas Tech feels fun because they have a National Player of the Year. Arizona, I feel, is like that Cuevas pick, but I think I'm with you. Texas Tech with a National Player of the Year candidate feels like a dark horse to win that conference, and it's a decent enough payout where it makes it worth betting a little bit of money.
Yeah, no, I'm shocked, and I didn't see Iowa State pop up here because I would have thought they would have been in between BYU and Texas Tech. Is where I would have put Iowa State.
I was about to bring that up, especially after what we just saw on the bracketology. Did not see them mentioned here.
Yeah,
I find interesting.
Yeah, that was surprising to me. But if they're really not that big miss,
well, and also Texas Tech, might as well put your money where their money was spent.
I might want to redo that. I want 9-5 for Iowa State with that home court advantage.
What?
925.
925 is not okay.
You know what? Yeah, sprinkle $10 more in
let's redo our Big 12 here. I just took the top 5 off of each one. All right, cool. So yeah, I would say that plus 925. That is around Arizona.
Yeah, I'm not Iowa State convinced, and I'm also so heavily Houston convinced that it's not where it's at. Texas Tech is still the dark horse for me.
Yeah, no. Texas Tech is the smarter play. Mm-hmm. Having Iowa State at not plus almost 1,000 is going to be incredible. And once again, that's a number I don't think is going to get any bigger.
No,
because Lipsy will be back at full speed.
Yep.
Before conference play even starts, so we don't have to worry about that. The home court they have in Ames is nasty, and I really love the coach. I love the team. That's where I would normally would have picked Arizona. I'm going to go Iowa State. So I'll put of 15. I'm gonna split that evenly. That's how much I like. I will put as even as I can. Put 8 there on Texas Tech and 7 on Iowa State.
Can you parlay conference futures?
You can, but not
Well,
inside. the same conference.
here's my parlay so far. I'm gonna go 15 on NC State. No, I'm gonna go 25 on NC State, followed by Texas Tech in the Big 12.
There we go.
And then when we get to the next conference, I might throw one of those in the mix too.
And if you just, honestly, I feel like, I know we're going to discuss others in future episodes, but the Big 12 might be one of the most fun conferences to put money on, just because of how competitive it is. I mean, obviously the SEC, but they kind of beat up on each other. But the Big 12, I mean, there's a lot of question marks, which I think that's going to be a theme in all of college basketball, given how many rosters change, like we change underwear at this point. And so having to adjust to those times, that's what makes put a little cash down more exciting. So it could really change from time to time.
Yeah. I mean, and just so we're not talking about the power conferences here, I think the A10 is always fun, always competitive, always has decent teams coming out of. George Washington at plus 270, VCU at plus 270, St. Louis at plus 350, Dayton at plus 700, and Loyola at plus 700. I don't know. I would have picked George Washington, but that is not worth my time at plus 270. I do not want to sweat that bet all year, trying to find ways to watch A10 ball. Not doing that for just plus 270. Dayton is a sneaky one. I like St. Louis. They still have their nickname, Robbie Dude Crean. He's still there. Very good player. Like coach, came from Indiana State. I think they could absolutely do it. So if I were to do it, I'd probably still pick Dayton, but it would be like $1 flyer. If I got my account down to $1, I'd be like, yeah, here, sure, why not?
So I'm gonna top off my parlay here, and you guys are gonna want to earmuffs this one. Sister Jean is 106 years old, and she is no longer able to attend Loyola sporting events. And I think this is going to be like do it for Sister Jean year, and I'm gonna ride Loyola all the way through that conference. Plus 700 long shot odds I've got on Texas Tech and NC State. I think I've got a hell of a parlay here. Put $25 to $50 down on that, see what happens. I remember doing this one time with Jake a few years ago where I think I had a 20-game bet, and I came down to Alabama and who was it?
I can't remember.
God, Alabama and Georgia, maybe?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I was in Alabama, had a lead with 5 minutes left. I thought, I was like, man, this is going to be a $1,600 payday.
My gosh.
Somebody caught wind of my bet, and it's a 5-minute collapse. So this is what I'm going to ride.
That's crazy.
For the A10, in honor of Sister Jean and all the magic that she's brought to that program, I'm going to put my money down.
I wonder what kind of NIL check that she gets.
If you're wanting to do Sam's conference winner parlay here, that'll get you a nice plus 37,000 odds. Your $25 bet is going to pay you $9,425.
I'm putting it in right now.
Right,
I'm putting it in right now.
Better come with a receipt.
All right. So when I get my $9,000 payday, I'll treat you guys to a Final Four with Purdue and UConn in Indianapolis.
When NC State
I'll take that bet.
Trips out of the gate and loses their first 4 ACC games, you're just gonna throw that away.
Nah, we'll wait. We'll let them. I don't think it'll happen. But you never know. You never know. Well, as we kind of wind things down, rapid fire question real quick. It's simply just providing a recommendation. Sam, give me a reco. Tell me something good. Recommend something. Product, movie, shows, food, something.
Look, so as a new-ish basketball podcaster and internet celebrity with our 112 subscribers, I think I absorb more college basketball than in the off season than I care to actually admit. So I'm going to recommend some, I wouldn't call them competitors because we're not really big on the market yet, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, Sleepers Media is one of my favorite follows. I absolutely love those guys. Cart Greg, they got the extras now working, kind of filling in so that they're not doing all the work. It is a fancy, like they get the scoops from all their favorite schools, and the schools that they're following are the schools that I love to watch. They're big on Tennessee. They're big on Purdue. They're big on Michigan. Well, I mean, Greg's a Michigan guy, Cart's a Michigan State guy. They're an absolute fantastic watch. If you watch us and you don't like us, then and you want to get some college basketball news, go to Sleepers, but then come back to us and watch us. Like and
Give us a
subscribe. We're on
shot.
YouTube, Bench Points. Give us a shout, comment, tell me you hate my hair and you hate that I play with my hair when I've got my hat on backwards. Call us out for our quirks and our weird edits, but we're new at this. We're extremely low budget. We are full-time employees at our respective companies, but we have fun with it. Sleepers, that's their full-time job, and they really do a good job at it. So that's my recommendation.
Nice. Jake, what about you?
Look, I'm probably late to it here. I just picked up the Fallout series on Amazon. That is
My God.
so much fun.
Yeah.
If you are late to things because you have 3 kids as well, that is one thing I would move up your list to get to in that 30 minutes to an hour you have between kids' bedtime and when you want to pass out. It's a great feel. Don't watch it around your kids. The language is rough. It is a fantastic show. I'm like 3 episodes in and I'm just hooked. No, those are good.
But so for me, for my recommendation, I also keep with a TV theme, is on Netflix. It's called Black Rabbit with Jason Bateman and Jude Law. Fan-freaking-tastic. Very original, very fun, just some good old-fashioned New York crime drama. It's just nice. I mean, New York needs more drama considering what's all happening in their respective sports. Definitely don't watch it with your children, but enjoy it after they go to bed. It is a solid watch. But I also have to say that it is about that time for your favorite human victory cigars to go get it done. Now, these guys, again, have to go in there. I'm frankly barely can see out of one of my eyes, so I'm going to have to go ahead and hold things down here on the bench. So give me a shout. Bring me some popcorn, maybe a Reese's Pieces. If you don't mind, that'd be wonderful. But that's going to be it for us.
All right. See y'all next blowout.
Take care, y'all.
And if you made it this far, you're already part of the bench mob. So hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more chaos. Bench Points is on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you pretend to know ball.